This is part 2 of the Ford, actual Ford, not the accessory one you can order out of the catalog. This is the hitch from the actual factory, from what I understand. It's got a Ford stamping part number and everything on it. Now I have to figure out what bolts I need to bolt that up, because this crash bar has to come out of here. That's got to slide in place, but if you look, that's got 2 sets of bolts. One up front is lower and the top is staggered on that hitch. So if you look at the setup here that comes on the vehicle, there's a front bolt where it goes, but the one that's staggered, the one I pointed out, that's up here, and I don't have a bolt for that. And then down here there's 2 holes, so you got to go here and then you got to go there. You got to drop your exhaust out of the way to get to that second hole. So you got to get another set of bolts for this that probably are the same, and then Loctite the piss out of them when you go to put it back in. So to drop the exhaust, you're gonna have to pull the hanger, which looks like a 10 mil, and drop the exhaust down so you can slide everything in, and then you'll be able to get your bolts and stuff in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this crash bar pulled out of here, and I'm probably gonna have them go send somebody and get me the right bolts for this thing. So I'll give you a little info on what I got going on so far. I'm waiting on another set of bolts. We sent a porter to go get them, so I got to have a rear set of bolts to go in here. I took the set that I already had so I can go ahead and get this bolted up, and I put these 21 millimeter bolts here and here, and I rehung these exhaust hangers with the new hitch setup, and here and here hung that hanger. So now I'm going to put the 10 mil bolt back in there that holds everything together. I won't get a new set of bolts for the front until the morning, and then this connector belongs to a factory setup. So this goes to a factory setup here. You see how high this hitch is? It's like really up in the, if you went with like an Easy Tight or a U-Haul hitch, it's probably like half the size of this. It's not as beefy, and it kind of drops down here underneath the bumper. That's the problem I'm having, because I told the customer, I said, you know, I'm gonna have to cut a hole in that bumper for it to fit over this, and he was like, I don't care, just make it work. I want the factory one put on the vehicle. And then this is not going to be able to work with the trailer brake module unless I actually ordered a new entire rear harness for this that plugs directly into this from the center right here. It actually drops down and it hangs down in here, and it plugs directly into this. So I had to order a Ford accessory kit that we have a porter picking up right now. Actually, it's the parts guy. He's going to pick it up from the other dealer right now that has it in stock. And then I'm going to have to run power from the battery back and then tie that unit into both lights and then tie it into this to make all this work appropriately. So as much as I'd like to say that this was just an easy clean cut deal, it's not at all. If you went with like an aftermarket Easy Tight or U-Haul one or something, it'd be a lot easier than this. I'm actually having to work to get this stuff to work and turn out at least halfway decent, so it's not an eyesore with that hitch sticking out of the bumper. So I'm gonna go ahead and hang the bumper and stuff right now and get it all lined up and try to mark out where I'm gonna cut, where that stuff's gonna sit.
Trade secrets.
So I just put the bumper back up temporarily. The hitch is actually behind it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to raise the vehicle back up and outline where the hitch is going to be from the back side. So I went behind it and I actually marked around where the hitch is going to be. And I came up and I actually cut an access panel to start. See right there? Now I'm going to work it and open it up and try to shape it. What the customer wanted, that's what he gets. They got me a harness. It's a Ford accessory harness. You see how I had to cut that out of there. I'm gonna have to trim up all the edges and stuff to get that to fit and get this bumper to stay tucked. I'm gonna have to get it to tuck up underneath there instead of actually, you know, having the bumper for it. But I tried to cut as perfectly as I possibly could just to keep everything nice and square. I'll go back and clean up the edges and stuff when I'm done, and maybe dress it up with some like trim, like ribbon to go around it. I don't know yet. If I clean it up enough, I'll just leave it alone. The customer did know that I would have to cut into his bumper, but he wanted the heavy duty hitch. So now I'll pull this back off, run the wires from the front, and then it's pretty simple. Yellow is left turn, green is green or right turn and brake, blue is brake, black is ground, yellow or black is ground, white is ground, yellow left turn. You just got to go through and follow the procedure. And then you got a main power wire you run from the battery back. Because it says on here red is battery positive. Yeah, joy, right? Let's install it. Let's get the old bumper off and install it. Okay, this is just a quick one. What I did was left this here so the fuse could be changed. I ran it out the front right here by the foam because this is plastic. So if it does rub through, it's plastic on plastic and not metal. And then I'm going to try to find a way as I go down here to secure it out of the way. I don't know if it'll work. We'll see. This is the power wire that goes back to the rear of the vehicle for the kit. Okay, the next thing I did is I took my fish tape, which is a roll of this. Just look up fish tape on Amazon, and I ran it all the way to the front and I brought it out right here. And now I'm going to hook that wire up to it and pull it back through. See how I ran it up away from the catalytic converter and I ran it down next to the motor mount, brought it out the side right here so it can have something soft to lay against, and then I brought it back through here. So the only part that's going to be exposed is right there. And then the rest of it will run straight back along underneath this covering. Okay, got it ran down through this, all the way down. Comes out right up here. Goes up under over the cradle, along the frame up there. Comes back out. And now I can mount my module back here, wherever I need to mount it. Let's do it. All right, I'm gonna put the module right there because that cover does come under and kind of protect that, and that's enough for me to go ahead and run my power wire right into it. But now I got to start running my other wires for my lights. So that'll be next. Okay, wiring stuff up right now. I've got ground tapped in right here where you see my test light, my smart probe. I've got ground coming from the box down to that ground, and I've also got the ground coming from the harness that comes on the trailer connector. It's supposed to be a factory harness, but you can't put a factory system in here unless you order a whole new entire harness for the back of that, and then programming and stuff is involved. We're not going that route. We're just going to put a universal Ford accessory kit in here. So I've ran my power to the module down there. I ran my ground that I tapped into the back of the body over here, and I ran my yellow wire, it's your left turn, up to your light here. And if you're looking at the back of the light, tab facing up, I tapped into that circuit right there on this side. Now, tab facing up, wing, wires on the bottom, I went to the left side. So that's my yellow. I ran it up underneath this to stay away from everything. I ran it back over to, it's from the module here, and then you can see left turn is flashing. So I'm ready to move on from my left turn and go to my right turn. So I ended up wiring in my right light as well. This green wire here is the right light. So if you're looking with the tab facing up, it's on the left side of the connector. And my running lights, or my park lights, I'm wiring in right now. And that would be the brown wire from the accessory kit comes up here and ties into the center wire. Tab facing up ties into the center wire. That's how you do that. And as I'm going through this kit, you can see the yellow wire goes to the yellow here. The green wire goes to the outside of the connector here. And then now I need to figure out where my my running lamps go, which I'm assuming is going to be this middle one here. So from the module into this connector, this is my running lamps, this one here. So now I need to take this and I need to hook it in to this here to get the running lamps, which the running lamps would be the top post here. So what I'll do is I'll take that running lamp wire, I'll cut this one and leave the end frayed out, and it's more than likely going to be one of these little small ones that are left over here from the factory harness, and I will go ahead and get them wired into, this is like a gray and a white, and this is just a tan. Let's figure out which one it is. Alright, so I hooked my blue wire from the module up to the brake circuit, which the brake circuit is this outside wire here, the outside one to the connector tab down. Brake circuit is the outside wire. I dressed it up real nice. I ran it back down, and I wanted to make sure that I had good brakes, so I went out down to the alignment machine and I got a pedal pusher and I applied the brake, and then I hooked up to ground. And then I want to see ground, running lamps, left stop turn, right stop turn. Let's see if we got power on those. Okay, brake is applied, good. Brake is applied, good. That means I have power to both. Now let's put the flasher on while the brakes are on and see what happens. Flasher's on right now. Okay, flasher's on. Let's see what happens for our right turn. Open this back up. Right turn is the bottom. Okay, it's doing what it's supposed to do. Cancels out the brake light. Okay, we're good. Our lighting control module is hooked up properly. Now, if you wanted more, you could hook these other wires up. One of these wires is for backup. One of them is for 12 volt power. I'm not interested in doing anything with those because they absolutely don't do anything for me. This is just a regular wire hookup. If I wanted to go further, and if this was a heavy duty truck, I pull out my trailer connector like this, which gives me 12 volt power, left turn, right turn, backup. It gives me more than just your standard. I could go in and wire up 12 volt and do all that, but I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in my little guy right here working fine, because that's what most people pull with. Aside from that, that's up to the customer to get the rest of this stuff wired in. I want just a regular trailer connector hookup, and that's what I did here. Let's go back and check again. Right turn is flashing. One hand trying to do this stuff. Right turn is flashing, which is bottom pin. Left turn should be holding steady. Left turn is holding steady. Top pin, running lights. Let's take the brakes off and take the turn signal off. everything powered down. Oh no, I got the lights turned off. Turn the lights on. Running lamps. Okay, we got running lamps, so we're good. Everything's hooked up appropriately. So again, yellow wire goes to your outside circuit here, centerpiece facing up. Blue wire, which is your brakes, outside here, tab facing down. Your brown wire here is your running lamps. I ran it to the center pin. Brown wire to the center pin. Green wire, tab facing towards you. Green wire goes in this outside circuit. Ground, I made my own ground spot right here on the back of that, and I took the trailer hitch, grounded to it, and the module grounded to it, and then ran power from the battery forward. That's it. That's what they want you to do. That's how this is supposed to be installed. So now I'm going to go ahead and dress everything up, tuck it away, and then start to work on getting that bumper reinstalled to see what it looks like with everything connected. So you have to modify these brackets, or you get some really big, like heavy duty zip ties, and actually run them from this area up, or find some eyelids on the bottom of the skirt and run them up to the bracket where they typically go, because on the ones that are actually the ones that come from the factory, they're about 2 or 3 inches higher up. So when you go to put, if you do this, which I wouldn't have done this, but this is what the customer wanted, if you put this style hitch in the vehicle, then, and this is how you want it instead of the other design, this is how you're gonna have to do it, how I did it in this video. Or you have to order a whole new bumper, a whole new wiring harness. There's all kinds of stuff you gotta order. But I used this kit, this wiring kit, accessory wiring kit, and it's FT1Z15A416A, and basically you run power from the battery up there back to the module. You mount the module, it grounds out, you tie the module circuits into the lights so it gets a signal from the light, and then it supplies its own connection through 4 wires going out to the trailer hitch. Yeah, kind of a pain. I had to silicone the gaps. You see there's a bead of silicone around the bottom, and then I'll have to come back in. I had that rivet, I had those 2 rivets a little bit lower, but I had to open the hole up and move them up because it started to ripple right there in the bumper, and then I had to suck it back in. The guy said he didn't care. He said, just get it done. I need this vehicle because I'm leaving Illinois and I'm going to Texas. I don't care what it looks like. I don't have the time for the extra harness and bumper and everything else. Just get the class 3 hitch put on it, get everything secure, get it to where I can drive it down the road and make all my lights function. Well, this is an option. And unfortunately, this is the best that I can do because this bumper is not made for this hitch. So this is a class 3 hitch installed with a Ford accessory wiring harness on a vehicle that's not built with a harness to run a trailer. And he's very aware of it. He's running a trailer with electric brakes, and he said, I'll just take my chances. So I know you guys aren't gonna completely understand why I did this. Some of you are gonna give me some grief. This is what I was asked to do, and this is what I did. I installed a class 3 hitch that was not made for this Explorer with this setup on this setup, so the customer can have what they wanted. And I told him I'm gonna butcher the hell out of it. I'm gonna try to make it the best that I can. And he says, okay, do what you gotta do. That's fine, just give me my vehicle. So the guy came and brought a brand new 2021 Explorer and then said, you know what, chop it up and throw a class 3 hitch in it. I'm okay with it. Okay. So tomorrow we'll get it all detailed up, get the customer his vehicle, and Send him on his merry way. In Texas, here he comes, you know. What can you do? Thanks, guys. I appreciate you understanding that sometimes these things happen. Sometimes this is what customers want. I appreciate those of you that aren't going to give me any grief because of the way this is done. There's no videos on the internet about this. There's no videos showing you how to install a Class 3 hitch on a vehicle that's not made for it just because you want it. It's just the facts. Here it is. You know, you could have went with an Easy Ride or Easy Tie or U-Haul one, a little dinky one or something like that, and you would have had to have tied your lights and stuff in the same exact way. Except this is actually running a module with a fuse in line, and it can control what's going on better. Anyhow, what a hectic day.